Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well this morning. I'm back out on the porch. It's warmed up just a little bit, so I thought I'd come back to the porch. I hope all of you have had a good weekend and you're doing well. It's rather rainy here. It's been rainy for the last week on and off. Rained all day yesterday. I thought today was supposed to be less rain, but it's raining now, so I'm not sure about that. It's supposed to rain the rest of the week. Maybe not the rest of the week, the next 2 days anyway. So I wish, of course, y'all know, I wish that was some snow, but it's just rain. Not really heavy rain, just rain. Just kind of a dreary. You can probably tell behind me. It's pretty dreary. I don't think the sun's supposed to come out today. It's just supposed to be cloudy. I bet some of you are getting snow though. I've seen that a lot of, I guess this storm as it's going, the northern parts of it are getting a lot of snow. So maybe you are. Maybe you're getting some of that. Excuse me. So everybody here's doing well. We're trying still to, of course, enjoy the Christmas holidays and getting ready for Christmas. Still not been able to do my greening of Christmas. And I was thinking last night when I was looking at the weather, I thought, well, maybe I'll be able to get it today and then do it another day this week because I knew tomorrow and Wednesday's going to be rainy. But I'm not going to be able to go out and get any greenery today either. So I don't know. Maybe this will be the year I don't get it done, or I'm going to have to wait till right before Christmas to do it. One or the other. Because gosh, can you believe Christmas is almost here? It's so hard to believe. I can't. This year's just went so fast, and this season has definitely went very fast. So I'll just have to wait and see. I don't know if I'll get it done this year or not. Maybe the year that it doesn't happen, but I'm going to try, even if I have to bump up right against Christmas, I'm going to try because it's something I really enjoy. I really love, and I love bringing all those beautiful pieces of nature into our house. I love the part of going around in the holler, and mostly I get it out of Granny's yard, but between here and Granny's yard, I love that part. So it's something I enjoy creating, and I do it at Christmas. So seems like I need to do it, but I really enjoy it. And I think my family does too. And of course, we'll have Christmas here at my house for all of my family. And I think they enjoy seeing everything all spruced up and nice. And I guess if I have to wait till closer to Christmas, it'll still smell really good. It'll still smell fresh and vibrant, the pine, everything. Oh, Tracy, thank you so much. You're so good to us. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you very much. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. We did get to go and spend some time with the Presleys and have Christmas with them, and that was really, really nice. We didn't get to go last year because of sickness with some of them, not us, but under the weather. And so it's been a while since we'd seen a lot of folks, and so we really, really enjoyed getting to see them and getting to spend time with them, and it was just really, really nice. We had a great time, and makes me long for the days when we spent more time with them. We used to, when the girls were little, and seems like things were easier. Maybe we were just more spry and didn't care to travel. We went out there a whole lot more and spent time with them. So me and the girls would often go spend at least a week in the summer, and that was always really nice. And Nana and Papa would spoil us, and we'd go swimming every day, and I wouldn't have to cook no supper, and they entertained Corey and Katie, and it was really a vacation for me. So it was really, really nice. Anyway, we had a good time with them. This time of the year is, I think, really good for getting together with family. But my heart always goes out to the people that don't have family, or maybe they're my friend Kenneth used to tell me he was the last of the Mohicans because he was the last one living in his family. His mother and father had been gone for many years, and then all of his siblings were gone, and so makes me feel for people who don't have someone to share their time with. I watched a video about it the other day. I don't know if any of you watch or have you ever heard of Shaun of the South. During COVID, during all that, it's when we first become familiar with Shaun and his writings and his singing and everything. And he interviewed Corey and Katie he was doing a podcast then. Not sure if he still does that now or if that was just during those COVID days. But he has started a YouTube channel, and he has a really heartwarming talk about the people that don't have anyone during Christmas and how hard it is and how terrible it is. And it's really, really heartwarming. I wonder if I could find his channel. I didn't know I was even going to say that, so I didn't put it in my notes. Let's see if I can find his. channel here. Let's see if this is it. I don't know. I mean, this is his channel, but I don't know if this is the. He's got some other stuff on there too. I wish I could remember the name of it though. I don't really see the one I was thinking about, but I sure did watch it. Well, anyway, you'll enjoy his channel. And one of those, I just don't remember what the name of it was, but you'll enjoy the one about the man in the nursing home is really good if you watch that one. But you can look through those and find that one, I'm sure. Find that one. And we did, like I was saying, last week we had that bitter cold weather, and that's kind of left, and it's kind of chilly, but it's warmed up. The temperatures are much more milder than they were. I think towards the end of this week, we're supposed to get cold again. I'm always thinking if only that cold weather could coincide with this rain, I'd have snow, but usually doesn't work that way for me. So anyway, I was put little persimmons in the title there because I was thinking about persimmons. Now, persimmons grow wild. The wild persimmons grow wild around my house. There used to be a tree. It's not there anymore. Progress moved to cut down in the name of progress, you know. But when I was a girl, there was one below Granny and Pap's house. And every year we'd go down there, and you can't eat the persimmons, if you didn't know this, on the wild ones until after the frost. I think after a couple of frosts makes them better. Now, they look like something you would never eat. They look all squishy and kind of rotted a little bit. I mean, they look like they're done gone bad. Like if it was an apple or something like that, you'd be like, I'm not eating that. But you need to wait for that for the persimmons, because then that's when they're sweet, when they're the sweetest. If you try to eat one before that happens, it has the properties that makes you really pucker. You can hardly stand it. It's so, it's not just that it's sour, it's the astringent. Is that the word? I don't know. Just something that you can't tell. Now that's a trick that gets played on people that don't know, you know, you find the nice, pretty, looks really nice, really pretty persimmon, and get somebody to take a bite out of it and then laugh at them. You know, that's a joke. But if you grow up near them, it doesn't. By the time you're just a little kid, you know, don't do that. Wait for them to get really soft and squishy, you know. The thing about the wild persimmons are they're so little, not much bigger than like a chestnut, something like that most of the time. And it takes a whole lot of them. Now, if you're just eating them, and they have a big seed inside of them, I bet some of you have seen the folklore about you're supposed to cut that seed open, and that'll tell you whether or not you're going to get snow the coming winter or not. Anyway, I'm always encouraged when I see that it says I'm going to get snow, but then it doesn't happen usually for me. So I don't know how good that folklore is. Anyway, they are, like I said, great to just eat if you just want to eat it and spit out that seed. But if you're going to make something out of it, like I've made persimmon pudding, it's been a long time since I've made any. It takes a lot to get enough to actually make the pudding. I have that recipe on the Blind Pig and the Acorn. You could find it on there if you want to. Now, where Matt deer hunts in Georgia right now, right behind their trailer, there's a persimmon tree. So sometimes he'd bring those. It's just really easy because it's right at the edge of the yard. You don't have to go up in the woods or anything like that. And so I used to, when I would had more time and would go with him, sometimes I would go out there and harvest them and bring them home. But I hadn't done that in a long time either. So I really love persimmons, and they grow wild here, but I don't have one really easily accessible like that one that used to be below Granny and Pap's house. But another thing I really love, and I didn't even know about these until I was an adult. You can see this is like an Asian persimmon. Now you can buy these trees and plant them. My friend Jim, he has one in his yard, and it produces bukus of these. And sometimes if I'm where we're going to meet somewhere or have something to do with each other, he's glad to share them with me because he knows how much I love them. And you can buy them this time of the year. You can see them in the grocery stores often. That you can buy them there in the grocery store. That's where these come from, and they are so good. And they're bigger, so they're easier if you wanted to make persimmon pudding or any of the persimmon bread or any of the other recipes. So it's easier to get the pulp out of them. But I would never. I'd have to have a whole lot to do that because I prefer just to eat them. They're just like candy. I adore them. Now, sometimes when you get them in the grocery store, this one's still kind of real firm. So I would wait and wait a few days for it to get soft before I eat it. It's better than any candy. I mean, I'm just crazy about them. Plum foolish, like I like to say about them. They're really good. Now, like I said, you can buy a tree, and it's one of the fruit trees that you can grow that doesn't need another one to pollinate. So you can just get one tree. Now you have to search for the right kind of tree, right variety, and all that. But and I had one. Matt got me one for Christmas. I don't know, or my birthday or something. Several years ago, and it did okay for a little while until it didn't. It died. So I don't have one now. I think probably why it didn't do good for us is we have such a hard time here on the goat bluff because we don't get much sunshine. Especially even in the summer we don't get full sun, but this time of the year you can forget about it. And I think it just didn't have enough sunshine. And then because we have such a small area around our house, you only have certain places you can put it. If you want to put a tree that's going to get really huge, you can't put it over top of your garden or something like that. So lots of reasons why I'm sure where we planted it wasn't the best place, and then it didn't make it. But I'm thinking in those days, see, we didn't have access to the big garden. Now that we do, that's on my list. I'm going to put one of those trees down there somewhere because I just love them. They're just so good. And again, if you've never tasted one and want to, get them. If you buy one, wait till it's soft before you eat it. These are not. I've found that these are not as don't have that pucker quality as much as the wild ones. But again, they're sweeter. The softer they get, they're sweeter. So anyway, if you want to try them, and I've not had any in probably 2 years, but I got me some, and I've been enjoying them, and they're really, really good, really good. So let's see what else I had down to talk about. This week's videos, I don't know what they're going to be. You'll just have to be surprised. One of them is going to be that I made pralines. So I made pralines to take out to the Presley. So that's going to be one of them. I was hoping one of them would be the greening of Christmas, but I don't see that happening. So I'm sure it'll be something Christmas related, though. And talking about Christmas, I was going to share. I think it'd be easier now that I'm thinking about it. I was going to share a whole bunch of links, but what would be easier is if I just went to my blog. I shared a lot of the ones in it last week, and that might be easier if you just go there and you can just click straight from there. But it's a lot of different, some of them I've shared here before, but just all the different places where where I'm reading a book, or maybe it's us playing music or whatever, but it's Christmas cheer is what I said. And then also some of the ones I had mentioned from like my friend that made the snow globe, that's just the snow inside it. You can just kind of leave on for relaxation. You can find those on that list, on that blog post too, if you go there and find all the Christmas cheer that we've kind of shared. Thank you, Lila, so much. Thank you. We really appreciate you. We really appreciate you. I'm still been listening to Christmas music. On the way to the Presleys, we listened to, I've been listening to Pap and Paul, but Katie, I don't even know how to do it. She played her phone through my radio, however you do that, Bluetooth, I guess. And so we listened to some that she had been listening to on her phone, and so that was nice. I still have the thinking, as fast as Christmas is coming, before you know it, we'll be thinking about planting, like me wanting to plant that persimmon tree down there. We'll be thinking about planting other stuff. So I still have calendars, those almanac calendars in stock in the Etsy shop, and I can leave that link. And then also, but again, I like to tell people, check in your area and you might find one. They may be giving them away for free at your funeral home, local funeral home, or not post office, funeral home, or bank, or feed store, those kind of places, insurance company. So there's the link to my Etsy shop, and you can find our CDs, those calendars, and there's a few mugs. A few mugs are in there. So if you're interested in that. And of course, mine and Jim's cookbook. I was talking about mine and Jim's cookbook. And Katie's still been working away when she can, when little man lets her, on her stuff for Christmas too. So I will add Katie's Stamy Creek shop there again too, if you'd like to see what she's got. And thank you to everyone who has purchased stuff. We really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Paul's songs last week. If you missed those, I'll put these. This was he shared Red River Valley. That's probably a song that everyone is familiar with. Makes you think of different things. Maybe it makes you think of the westerns or something like that. I really like it, and I used to play the piano a little bit. Not that I was good, and I ain't played it in years because we don't have a piano now. But I learned how to play Red River Valley on it, and there was just like one note that I thought was sweeter than all the rest. Just one little note that I just loved. I mean, I loved the whole song, but it was pretty. Anyway, Paul shared fascinating information about it that I didn't know anything about. So he shares that information, then he sings it really beautiful, beautiful. Does a beautiful, beautiful job on it. So that was one of the ones. And then he also shared another one of Pap's songs. He had shared one last week, and then he shared another one this week. It was "Have I Done My Best," and he talks a little bit about the history of the song and like the first time he heard it. And Pap wrote it like in the 80s or whatever, and I mean, I'm prejudiced, of course. All Pap songs are good, but it's a really earnest, heartfelt song. And so many reasons I'm glad we have all the songs that Pap wrote, because they're good, because they're, he was our daddy and all that. But I love them too as an adult, because I'm like Paul. I kind of look back at him and think, wonder what he was going through that he wrote that. What was he feeling? What was he, what was he dealing with in his life that, as a little 10-year-old kid or something, I had no clue about adult stuff and didn't know what was going on. But that one is really heartfelt. And if you are a believer, you probably often, all Pap songs are gospel songs, but that one really does get you, because you do have times where in your life as a believer, you run up against something and you think, have I done what God wanted me to do? Did I do it? Couldn't I have done better? I can always do better, of course. But it's really heartfelt, really, and always makes me, that one's one of the ones that always makes me tear up, because I feel guilt. I think I'm such a unworthy person for all the Lord's done for me. So it's really a beautiful song, though, if you want to go over there and hear it and hear what Paul says about it. Of course, spending time in Haywood County brought us up close and personal with a lot of the flood damage and what people in our family had been going through and those kind of things. And different things like that. And I'm still praying. I still want everybody to pray for those people. It's just, when I think about the small amount of damage that we seen, I mean, it wasn't small. It's big. It's huge. It's shocking. You can't even hardly wrap your mind around it. But then I think that's one little spot that Haywood County, I didn't go all over Haywood County is what I'm saying. But everywhere I did go, I saw damage and destruction. Unbelievable destruction. But then you multiply that by all the counties in North Carolina, by Tennessee, by Virginia, by West Virginia, by South Carolina and Georgia and Florida, and it's just unfathomable how you'll ever get back to that. From the very beginning, I've said over and over, and it's true, we just need to continue to pray for all these people that are suffering. Pray for all of them. Pray for their financial stability, for guidance to know what to do. For immediate needs, thinking about, shelter and warmth and vehicles. So many people lost their vehicles, all those kind of things. So please pray for them. This is a video my friend sent me. The Geo Model channel's done so much work of really explaining like the technical part of what happened, from the floods. This one is about the landslides, again, about how that the land and the mud and the water and the trees just almost become like a liquid, while it's flowing, that flow. It's fascinating, horrific, scary, all those kind of things at the same time. But it is interesting to try to find out, you think about how did this actually happen? How did this take place? And how does that even work? How does a side of a mountain fall off like that and then start? And this next one, my friend James sent me, it's actually the story of two people who was in a flow like that. So in their house, it's just a short video, but it's just amazing. One of those horrific stories, but they lived through it. And one of their neighbors that was kind of in, you'll have to watch the video, but in it with them did. But then his fiance did not. She did not make it out. But it's just, I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine. My heart just goes out to all of them. And please just keep praying for them and supporting where you can. The people, I've been sharing these. I'll share them again. This is a Facebook page, but the Western North Carolina Hope is where they're trying to fill people's needs. And a lot of these, I'm sure a lot of you have seen, there's from the very beginning, there's been people that was trying to scam once this happened. And so you worry, who do I give my money to? I don't want it just to go to waste. I don't want to help a scammer. And there's the really reputable, big charities, thinking about Samaritan's Purse or North Carolina Baptist and all of those that you certainly could help. But then there's the ones I'm sharing, like that one on that page, they say they're vetting every person. So every person, they're making sure that it's not a scammer. So that's helping primarily for Christmas and Thanksgiving, but for other things. Wayne at Deep River Farm, he's just continuing to do him and his whole big network of people continuing to do so much. And he's updating pretty much every day. If you want to follow along with him, he's updating pretty much every day. And I think it's today he'll be sharing a video that they're going to have a toy drive in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. But then this is not one that you can ship stuff to. You would have to drive actually and give. But it's in connection there. I think it's one of the Haywood County commissioners, Terry and John from the Appalachian Channel. So you can find that though today on the Deep River, and probably on John's channel too. You probably go there and find it. So you can continue to support them. This was the Pastor Tim Bethel Wesleyan Church, who is working with Wayne and the Deep River. It's a whole network of different people working together. And again, they're vetting everything. They're vetting to make sure they're helping these. And if you've watched Wayne's videos, they're helping these. I think it's 7, maybe more than that, families specifically with donations, because it's at the stage now where people really need financial. They need, how do I put the electricity back in my house now that it's cleaned out and I've got the sheet, I've got this back. Now I need electricity. I need to redo the plumbing. I need, it's money for those kind of things, or building supplies, but building supplies are hard to ship if you're trying to send somebody a new meter or, pump or whatever it is that they need. So, anyway, that Amazon list there is for Tim, that's helping, part of that whole connection with the Deep River Farm with Wayne, and you can find out more about that. There was really good news I seen on the front of the Mountaineer when I was out there this weekend, was that the state lifted whatever regulations it was about placing those tiny homes. Now you can Google and find out more details about it, but they have lifted those regulations. So that was excellent news if you ask me. So these that I'm sharing now are the ones that are helping to place those tiny homes or little sheds or whatever you want to call them. You can visit their sites and just find out more about them. This is in Burnsville, which again is another place that was just devastated. Not, like I said, it's just so widespread. And if you have any places to put, please put them in the chat there. And so that was great news, though. That was super news that those things have been lifted, and that now maybe that can make a way for these people. That's another restoration church. That's the Swannanoa area. You could help that. You could check that out. But it's at least those has been temporary lifted. And that's what I thought the whole time. Well, couldn't you just lift them like for a year, or just say for a year, and then the building codes will come back into effect, or whatever it is? I don't understand it all, but you can find out more about it. But I read it on the front page of the Mountaineer that those things had been lifted. So hopefully that will help make a real difference in placing the tiny homes or campers, whichever it is, whatever people are doing. So I hope that's wonderful. And that's answered prayers. Thank you all for praying. That's how prayer works. Thank you all for praying. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's an answered prayer for sure. And thank you so much for taking time to pray for them. think we're ready for wisdom from the comments. You keep sharing wonderful wisdom, and I keep loving it. I keep really loving it. So I'm thank you for that. Let's see where we're going to start. This one's not wisdom at all, and this was actually a comment on my blog. It wasn't here on YouTube, but it just Christmas is so nostalgic if you have those good memories, and I pray you do, of family gone and memories of what you did at your house when you was, what your mom and dad did, or your grandparents, whatever. And this was from Alina Elms, and she says, it's just talking about that. I just thought it was a lovely comment. But she's talking about, I'd never heard of crack candy until about 20 years ago from virtual friends in the Northeast on a message board. I made it once. It's very good. That was the cracker candy that I shared. My grandma wasn't the world's best cook, but she made really good peanut butter fudge, no chocolate in it. It was hard as a rock, but once you chiseled off a piece, it would melt in your mouth. I've never found a peanut butter fudge recipe I really love. My daddy made the chocolate fudge in our family using the recipe on the marshmallow cream jar. Of course, it had to have some of his Texas family's pecans in it. It was such a treat to get to scrape the cooking pot with a big spoon for taste when it was still warm. He used to set it outside to cool off. Fortunately, the possums and raccoons stayed away. I love those memories, though. I remember, wanting to lick the bowl of Granny's cakes, or if she made fudge of the pan, of the pot. I still do that. When I made the pralines last week, I still scraped all that goodness out and ate it off a spoon. So I really just loved that little memory. Okay, this one's from Becky, Becky Wilson. Maybe we're related, Becky. Becky says, my mama always said the truth will stand when the world's on fire. I've heard that one. And it's true. You can't change the truth. You can't. Now, sometimes you want to make people, I've been in situations in my life where I wanted to make people believe the truth. What they believed was wrong. Sometimes maybe it was even about me, what they believed was wrong, but I couldn't. And a very wise person, my brother Paul, one time told me, he said, Tipper, that just has to be enough. The truth just has to be enough. And it is. It doesn't just have to be. It is. You don't feel like that right now, but it has to be enough. The truth does. And he was right. I couldn't see it at that time, but he was right. So thank you, Becky. Love that one. I've heard that one too before. I like it. This is from Lee. Lee said, you probably heard this one before, but it's a good reminder to not make excuses for your mistakes. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. I like that one. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. So just saying you need to do what you need to do and do it right. I like that one. This one was from Kim, and this one I think's been shared in various different ways a few times, but it's just always a good reminder because we let people things people say really bother us and we dwell on them. But this is a good one. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't ask advice from. And sorry, I hear somebody talking down at Corey's. I was trying to figure out what it was. Maybe the male person. So don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't ask advice from. That's so true. Often we let people hurt our feelings that we would never go to them for personal advice. So that's a good one, Kim. Thank you. This is one's kind of been shared before too, but it sure is true. And so many of us fall prey to this. So this is from Kristen. I think it kind of cut off the name, but Kristen, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. That's why today is the present moment. It's a gift. We do worry about things we can't change in the past. And then we do, like Pap would tell me, Tipper, quit worrying about trouble. It may never get here. So that was a good one to focus on today. That's a really good one. And I like this one. Jeff said, Tipper, if it won't matter in 100 years, don't worry about it now. That's a good one. I've heard that one my whole life. And I've always also heard and said myself kind of along those lines was, well, I'm not going to worry about it because the end of time, may happen. And then what difference would it make? So thank you, Jeff. I like that one. This one is, just kind of a sweet story, but from Kathy. Kathy said, I can never, praying for everyone. My grandma always said when you had an adult birthday, You kids are making me old. And she would smile. I need to say that to Corey and Katie, because when I think about how old they are, I think, but how old does that make me? It seems like they should just be kids again. So thank you, Kathy. I love that your grandmother said that. Sweet. This one's one we've had before, but I think it's important to say them again. When my sister and I used to wish for this or that, my grandma used to say, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. She would also say about worrying, don't borrow trouble. Don't borrow trouble. That was Pap telling me. Most of the time it don't get here, Tipper, and you're worrying about it. You're meeting it halfway, and most of the time it's not coming. This one's from Kathy. My uncle used to say, old roads, old dogs, and old ways still have a lot to offer. Old roads, old dogs, and old ways still have a lot to offer. I would definitely agree with that. That's a good one. That's really wise. Pam said, in our ER, we're always saying, we'll do our best and God will do the rest. So true. So true. Yes, Pam. So true. I agree. This was from Tina. It's not really wisdom, just an awesome saying. I'd rather live for God and die to find out there isn't one than not live for God and die to find out there is one. That's one of those that'll really make you think about things. This is again talking about worrying. Terry said, all the time we spend worrying, we will never be able to get back. It's so true. All the time we spend worrying, we'll never be able to get back. I have a friend who's going through a really hard time right now and is so focused on the worry that they can't see the rest of can't see beyond that. I pray that they get to where they can see beyond that and see that life still has so much to offer. And this is a great one, and I'm sure you've heard it, but this is from Angle Tate. Maybe I'm saying that right. Here's a good wisdom old saying, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. I like that one. I try to live my life like that one. I try to do that. I sure was raised to do that. This one was from my friend Sally. And again, it was on the Blind Pig and the Acorn, but I just loved it. Sally said, there's so many little things we can do to lift others' spirits any time of the year, but especially at the holidays. It seemed as I shopped a few places along my journey today that several people were extra kind to others. Just watching and listening to those acts of kindness seemed to spread to bystanders as well. We don't have to spend money to make someone else feel good. There are so many other ways that can be done, and so many other ways that can be done. And this is the time when so many people might be suffering and it does not show. So that's wonderful. Just somewhere she stopped, she noticed everybody was just being total strangers, being kind to each other. It does spread like that. And that's a good reminder. Thank you, Sally. This is, I can't see it all, but a wonderful supporter of ours, Sane's all I'm saying, but I think it's Saner. Here's a quote I live by as a therapeutic recreation specialist, and Matt may need to see Tipper. You have the right idea. It was just when I was talking about sledding, and Matt was saying I may end up in the ER. This was the wisdom. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. George Bernard Shaw. Yes, please show Matt shoot down some mistletoe. I don't know if he'll get to do it either that, but if he does, we'll show that. But I like that quote. Thank you for that, and I will show it to Matt and tell him I'm going to keep playing so I don't get old. This one was from Rhonda. Rhonda said, I'm sure someone has said this one. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Also, this is just a little ditty my mom would say that she got from her dad way back during World War I as the flu was going around then. There was a bird named Enzy, open the window, and influenza. My mom would have loved this part about wisdom. I know she had had a lot. She's been gone for over 20 years. Just can't believe it. It doesn't seem that long. Thanks for all you do. Oh, thank you, Rhonda. That little influenza, you might have heard that if you've ever researched anything about the great flu epidemic. On my blog, I have a great recording of a lady who lived that way, just over the hill there in Pinhook. And it's her memories of it. I'm so glad David Broche, he's no longer with us now, but when he first come here and was working with the folk school, he recorded a lot of her. And I've got it on my blog. You can find it on there. But she tells just about how the flu affected her family at that time. 19, whatever it was, 18, 1919. I can't remember the exact date. I don't want to say that. You probably know, though, the great epidemic of the flu, but it's really interesting to hear it from her point of view and hear how it happened and how they got it. And then about the neighbors, that was the best part, taking care of them, even though they were going to take the chance of getting it themselves. This was another one that was just, it's good. It does have some advice in it, but it was also just a really lovely Christmas, thinking about Christmas. And this is a long 5925. I'm of German and Irish heritage, and Christmas Eve was our gift giving and family gathering. Not a big dinner, usually cold buffet, lovely tea, sandwiches, punch, midnight mass for our Catholic side, everybody welcome. Then, in our family, at least, on Christmas Day, the Protestant side attended their services, and then we all gathered for a dressy sort of dinner at the matriarchal home, my Irish mom. It was a grand blend of beautiful beliefs and traditions. I don't want this to sound like it was something out of the Waltons. It wasn't. We had our moments. Looking back, even those tricky times were good. My advice to all of your viewers: love a lot. It all passes quickly. Laugh off anything you find annoying or upsetting. Tell all your nearest and dearest that you love them. Say it a lot. That's great advice. Great advice. We do get so hung up on the little bitty things that we just, and it time goes by so fast that you know, we should take that advice. Love a lot. Thank you for sharing that. This one is a good one. This was from Elisa Angel. My uncle gave us some advice that works in any relationship. He brought it up in the context of asking what my cousins and I thought was the secret to a good marriage. We all guessed, and some came closer to his answer than others. My uncle said the secret to a good marriage is to always be polite to each other. Any behavior that's less than polite could ruin the whole relationship. People don't get over name calling and meanness. They'll always remember, and sometimes you can't get back to the way things were before the rudeness. He said in marriage, love, passion, friendship, respect, admiration may come and go at times, but in low periods or when you're fighting, you must remain polite. Follow that rule so you can find your way back more easily to normal and or happier times. I think it's a good rule to follow in all relationships. It's good advice that might fit into your words of wisdom, even if it's not as pithy as some of the other advice people mention on your channel. I think that is good, to always be polite and always be nice. That's good in marriage, but in other relationships too. Because it's true, you don't want to say stuff that you can't take back and that the other person may never forget. So, really great advice there. Now, this is another praise report from Shirley. Shirley says, thanks to you and all your viewers for the prayers for my husband's surgery. He will go home from the hospital tomorrow. He had 5 arteries that were blocked instead of the 3 they knew about. He has made remarkable progress in recovering, but still has a way to go. God is good. So thank you all, too, for praying for Shirley's husband. That was wonderful, wonderful news. Wonderful news. And I think there's one more. Let's see if I can find it. Yep, one more. And I really like this one. This goes, the past few weeks, we've talked about minding your own business. This is a great way to say it. So this was from, I think it's Marcella, if I'm saying it right. You're all up in their Kool-Aid and don't even know what flavor it is. I love that. Don't even know what flavor it is. That is a great one. And we're all guilty of that, all guilty of saying what we would do and how we would do it. And we don't even know. We're judging, not knowing the full story. We don't know what that person's going through. We don't know all the circumstances. That's a great way to say it, though. You're all up in their Kool-Aid and don't even know the flavor. Reminds me of many years ago, me and Matt was not married. Maybe we were married. Maybe we was first married, either really young, just married, or just about to get married, one or the other. Anyway, and lots of our cousins and us was all together, and a lot of us were talking about one of our cousins and saying what we would do and how we would do it, and just running our mouths about things we didn't approve of. And Matt wasn't doing it, but it was all of us cousins doing it. And one of my older cousins' husbands, he's like, he told all of us, he gave us a good lesson. He said, don't you dare, don't you sit there and say what you do. You don't know what you do until you're in that position. You can't say that. And I don't know if any of the rest of them remember it, but I remember that. He taught me a lesson that day. He's right. I didn't know what I would do. And wasn't my place to do it anyway, but I didn't know. I was just running my mouth. That's why he was right. He's told all of us. So maybe he instilled that in the rest of them too, but he sure did me. And I still remember it till this day. So I hope that all of you have a wonderful week. I hope everything goes the way you want it to. Hope you enjoy getting to spend time with people for Christmas. If you have those people, if you don't have those people, I hope you enjoy spending time with us online. We hope to share more Christmas videos. I know that Corey and Katie will too. And we're always glad when you stop by to visit with us. I love you all. Bye-bye.